They called him America's nicest judge, and for good reason. Judge Frank Caprio didn't just enforce the law, he redefined it with empathy. From forgiving struggling parents to comforting the elderly, his decisions touched millions and inspired the world. This is more than a courtroom story. It's a reminder that true justice begins with compassion. You're free to go. With those simple words, Judge Frank Caprio melted the hearts of millions around the world. Videos of his rulings went viral, not because they were shocking or harsh, but because they were filled with kindness, laughter, and compassion. In a world where most people think of courtrooms as cold, intimidating places, Judge Caprio turned his into something different, a place of humanity. His viral show, Caught in Providence, didn't just show the law at work. It showed a man who believed justice should be about people, not just punishments. But how did this humble man from Providence, Rhode Island, become known as the nicest judge in the world? To answer that, we need to go back to where it all began. Frank Caprio was born on November 24, 1936, in Providence, Rhode Island. He grew up in Federal Hill, a working-class neighborhood filled with Italian immigrant families. Life wasn't easy. His family didn't even have hot running water at home. To help out, young Frank worked as a dishwasher, a milkman, and even shined shoes on the streets. These weren't just odd jobs. They were lessons. Lessons about hard work, humility, and understanding the struggles of everyday people. His father, an immigrant fruit peddler, taught him a value that Frank would carry for the rest of his life. Always treat people with respect, no matter who they are. Frank studied hard, and after graduating from Providence College, he began teaching high school government classes. But Frank's ambitions didn't stop there. At night, he traveled to Boston to attend Suffolk University Law School. By day, he was teaching students about democracy, and by night, he was preparing to become a lawyer who would one day embody it. Frank Caprio served in the Army National Guard before starting his law career. Then, in 1985, everything changed. He was appointed Chief Judge of the Providence Municipal Court. For most judges, the role is straightforward. Listen to cases, hand down fines, and move on. But Judge Caprio had a different vision. He believed the law wasn't just about rules, it was about people's lives. That's why when a struggling single mother came into his courtroom, he didn't just see her parking ticket, he saw her story. When a 96-year-old man explained that he had been caught speeding while rushing to take his sick son to the doctor, Judge Caprio didn't punish him. Instead, he smiled warmly and said, "You're what America is all about." Moments like these defined his courtroom. They weren't staged, they were real. And soon, the world began to notice. In the early 2000s, local television started airing Caught in Providence, a program showing real-life footage from Judge Caprio's courtroom. At first, it was just a local show, but thanks to YouTube and social media, clips began spreading worldwide. One video after another showed him forgiving fines, joking with kids who accompanied their parents to court, or offering words of encouragement to struggling citizens. Millions of people from every corner of the world were watching, not because they cared about parking tickets, but because they saw something rare: justice with heart. The show ran nationally from 2018 to 2020 and even earned a Daytime Emmy nomination. But more than the awards, it was the impact that mattered. People wrote letters saying Judge Caprio restored their faith in humanity. Fans traveled from other countries just to meet him. For many, he became proof that kindness could exist even in the toughest institutions. Judge Caprio once explained his approach like this: "I don't wear a badge under my robe, I wear a heart." And that's exactly what millions of people saw. In 2023, after nearly 4 decades on the bench, Judge Caprio retired. The Providence Municipal Court was renamed in his honor, a rare tribute to a man who had turned a simple courtroom into a global symbol of hope. But just as he was closing one chapter of his life, another challenge appeared. In December 2023, Judge Caprio announced that he had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Despite the devastating news, he remained strong, sharing updates with his supporters and asking only for one thing: prayers. He underwent radiation and chemotherapy, even ringing the bell at a Miami Cancer Institute to mark the end of one treatment cycle. His courage inspired people just as much as his courtroom decisions had. Sadly, on August 20th, 2025, Judge Frank Caprio passed away at the age of 88. News of his death spread quickly, and tributes poured in from around the globe. People remembered him not as a celebrity judge, but as a man who cared. One fan wrote, "If all judges were like Judge Caprio, the world would be a better place." And they were right. His story wasn't just about rulings or viral videos. It was about showing the world that justice can be fair and merciful at the same time. Judge Frank Caprio's life reminds us of something powerful. Authority doesn't have to be harsh, and justice doesn't have to be cold. He proved that when you listen, when you show compassion, and when you treat people with dignity, you don't just uphold the law, you uplift humanity. So the next time you think of a courtroom, don't just picture the gavel and the fines. Picture Judge Frank Caprio, the man who wore a heart under his robe. One man in a small courtroom reminded the world that justice can be human. Judge Frank Caprio may be gone, but his lessons of love and compassion are still alive. Let's carry that torch forward together. If you believe the world needs more kindness, hit like, share this video, and subscribe to Voice of Hope, where we tell stories that lift the human spirit